Hey everyone, welcome. All right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about Empower Care teams in healthcare, specifically in some of the investments that we've been making with Microsoft Teams to enable clinicians being able to use our secure platform for communication and collaboration. So myself, I'm Michael Lamb. I'm the lead product manager for our healthcare investments with Microsoft Teams, and here is David.
Thank you, Mike. My name is David Newman. I'm one of our product managers for the Modern Workplace for Healthcare team. So today, we're going to talk specifically about some new innovations, show you some demos of features that we're building into Microsoft Teams to allow you to empower your care teams and clinical users in your organization. So we're going to focus on healthcare today. If you're not in healthcare, a lot of these features also apply to multiple industries, other regulated industries or unregulated. But today we're going to talk specifically about how you can actually empower your health organization. So just to give some context, first and foremost, we know that in healthcare, one of the major problems that we deal with is fragmented systems. And the proliferation of different types of apps in an organization that healthcare users are using, whether they're clinicians or non-clinical users in the organization. So in order to address that, we really think that at its core, Microsoft Teams is all about being a single hub in the organization for that communication. So we've highlighted here some of these core features. You think about scenarios like secure messaging. The ability to have chat in a situation where you are communicating between two clinicians. Oftentimes today, many clinicians will use things like consumer apps or consumer tools just to get done the communication that they need to do their job. So with Microsoft Teams, all of those same workflows that a clinician might do for chat, they can do in a secure way through Microsoft 365. Microsoft Teams is also a complete meeting solution. So whether your clinicians are doing a one-on-one video call that's more ad hoc, all the way up to something that's more like a structured multidisciplinary team meeting, Microsoft Teams has a complete meetings platform from audio, video, to sharing functionality, to even large meetings that can be used in a clinical scenario. In addition to our meetings, we're also a full calling platform. So your clinicians don't need to go to a separate app to be able to make a phone call directly to either a user that's inside of the organization or outside of the organization. So you can use Microsoft Teams to essentially replace some existing infrastructure you might have in an on-premises PBX type infrastructure. And then, of course, at its core, Teams is all about collaborating. And so when we look at clinical scenarios, the ability to have a care team work together, whether that's at a ward level or even more at a specific patient level, Microsoft Teams can be used to share things like files, sharing things like Power BI or Excel directly within the context of the conversation, and allowing them to have a lot richer communication experience.
So on top of the communication and collaboration capabilities, what's important is also the ability to customize and extend. Within Teams, of course, we have all these modalities through our extensibility platform, leveraging interaction touchpoints like tab apps, as well as bots as examples to bring in line of business applications as well as third-party applications to ensure that these workflows that the clinicians are going through or any sort of workers that are leveraging Microsoft Teams is that they can tailor their own experiences to make it work for them. Last but not least is also the ability to work with confidence. A lot of clinicians today know that certain applications that they're leveraging to communicate with each other are not compliant. But of course, it's a trade-off at times in terms of how they need to communicate to ensure that they provide the relevant care to patients. But the critical part is how do they leverage Microsoft Teams so that they can communicate without thinking about needing to be proactive in the compliance aspect, because backed by Microsoft 365, a lot of the auditing and e-discovery capabilities are baked into the stack. So IT of all these healthcare organizations are able to leverage through the Security and Compliance Center to actually gain access to the right audit logs, as well as e-discover the right content for any sort of auditing they might have to perform.
So let's talk about some specific features that we've introduced and announced. So first and foremost, the scenario we're going to start with is around messaging. So we've introduced some specific features that can be applied for a healthcare scenario so that your organization doesn't need to go purchase and acquire an additional messaging solution just for your care teams to be able to communicate securely. We've introduced some features that we found that can be very beneficial for these types of healthcare workflows. So just a few examples of those is the smart camera demo. You might have seen that in the keynote demo, where you have the ability to allow a clinician from their mobile device to take a picture, annotate on top of that picture, and be able to send that either to another user or a group of users on Microsoft Teams. The great part and best part about this feature is it actually doesn't save the picture to the local mobile device. So you don't end up having patient data or a picture getting posted to the user's consumer cloud where they're storing their pictures. This is stored in the M365 platform, so any images that are sent through there are not saved locally to the device. Another feature that we've introduced is the concept of an urgent message with a priority notification. So directly from your team's mobile device, being able to set the urgency and priority of a message so that, for example, in an urgent situation where you need that message to get through to another clinical user, you can actually mark that message as urgent. This will continue to send a notification to that other Teams user for 2 minutes up to 20 minutes until that user actually responds back to that message. This will also send an email to the user at the same time so that if they're not getting that message, they're actually going to receive that from a different channel as well. So this is, again, super useful in those scenarios where you're in a clinical scenario and you need somebody to get the message at the right time. Another feature we've introduced is around status message and the ability to actually @mention a user inside of that status message. So imagine you're a clinical user and you're headed into surgery and somebody's trying to get a hold of you and message you. In your status message, you can now actually set a delegate by @mentioning a user so that when someone tries to send you a message, they get a notification that you're unavailable and they see who your delegate is to go and be able to send that message and get the right response that they need. Of course, we've talked a lot this week as well around the rich messaging capabilities that are supported within the enterprise, but our messaging functionality can also be federated across organizations. So whether that's another health system that your hospital is working with that you need to collaborate with, the messaging functionality can extend outside of the immediate company network that you're working in.
So let's talk a little bit about one of our big investments with the Patients app. So as part of Ignite, we're also announcing the fact that there's also a manual mode to our FHIR connected mode being brought into private preview. So what this is essentially is a gateway to allow Microsoft Teams to actually connect to health information systems through the FHIR standard. So you think of like health information platforms that many organizations are moving towards. How do you bring that relevant information around patients into the fold of the conversation so that clinicians have the right contextual aspects of this patient information while they're collaborating with other clinicians to ensure that they provide the right care for them. So as part of that, with EHRs and medical information systems, through the interop layer, you can leverage some of our interop partners like Datica, Redox, Infor, and Dapasoft to actually do relevant translations into FHIR, or if your systems aren't already talking FHIR. And through that, you can actually integrate with the resources that we support, and we have documentation that we can provide as well for more information as to how you can integrate that. And the main thing is, through our live demo, we'll kind of cover as well, is how do you actually allow clinicians to shortlist certain patients if they have to use it as a way to drive relevant discussions in multidisciplinary team meetings and things like medical rounding day in, day out in different wards as well.
And the last feature that we're going to demo today, we're very excited about. We just announced this week here at Ignite is some new functionality around virtual consults with Microsoft Teams. So I talked a little bit around the clinician-to-clinician collaboration using the Microsoft Teams meetings platform that provides a really rich video experience between clinicians that can be used for many scenarios like multidisciplinary team meetings, team huddles, process reviews, shift handovers, lots of functionality there, and you'll see in our booth as well, we've got a lot of the devices and room systems that we support with Microsoft Teams. But not only can you now enable an internal collaboration via Microsoft Teams meeting, we've also introduced some functionality where clinicians can actually now schedule and communicate with external users. So you can actually now enable a clinician-to-patient scenario using the Microsoft Teams meetings platform. And so what we demoed and what we're going to show you here today is a new tool inside of Microsoft Teams that allows an administrator or any Teams user in your organization to go and actually schedule a virtual consult with an external user. So we've built some of this functionality together with the Outlook team that allows you to use Teams to allow the external user to join via a web browser. So they don't need to have any Microsoft Teams or Office 365 account to be able to join. They can just seamlessly join directly from the browser and get connected via video to those internal users. So this can apply directly to a clinician-to-patient scenario. It also applies to many other scenarios inside of the organization, things like HR interviews, for example, meeting with customers, doing recruiting is another great example of a scenario. So with that, we're going to actually jump over to our demos. And we're going to start with the Patients app.
All right, demos are always the most exciting and also the most risky because of internet connection problems. So here you see the Patients app. As part of Teams, here in the left rail, you have different channels associated to the different topics of a medical ward or discipline. On the top here, you have a set of tabs that are kind of critical aspects of how clinicians function in terms of the dashboards that they leverage, as well as certain information that they might need access to. So patients fall within that same interaction touch point is that we have an app for this, and from this view that you see, this one's actually connected through to a FHIR server so that we're actually pulling information in real time. So clinicians can kind of shortlist by adding different patients through standard search. There's requirements around the search as well, so you can't just randomly type in the last name and expect to see a set of results. There's a minimum requirement around filling out at least first name, birth date, and or gender, so that it kind of adds up to, there's a scoring system essentially, so that it reduces the chance of people randomly querying for patient records. And from here, once you've curated the list, we're actually fetching this information in real time through to the FHIR server. And you can see that we support different types of FHIR resources that allows us to bring in information like medications, vitals, details in their conditions and allergies. And we also have a note section. So the idea of the notes portion isn't so much about taking medical notes, because most of those would be charted directly into the AHRs, but this is really about the logistics. A lot of the times shift workers like nurses and clinicians and so on, as they exchange shifts or change over to shifts, there's a lot of information that needs to be handed off, like logistics or any sort of customer experience related things in providing care for these patients, and those are typically missed in these handovers. And so although it seems very simple, this has been very constructive, especially with a lot of the research that we've been doing and the pilots that we've been running with healthcare customers here in the US as well as in Western Europe. So this is one view of the EHR connected version through FHIR. The second one that I'm going to show you is the manual mode portion. So what manual mode is essentially a lot of organizations who want to get this connected have pretty long discussions around what does it mean to have the right cloud architecture to actually connect these right systems, especially their EHRs or any sort of health information system, to bring that data into the fold of these conversations. Because of that, those are longer type discussions with their IT staff, and so as part of that, clinicians are still needing a solution today. A lot of them are still leveraging whiteboards in different nursing stations, all the way through to digitized versions would be Excel spreadsheets here and there, and they have dashboards all over the place. And part of it is how do we enable clinicians and democratize a little bit of this workflow so that they can bring in the relevant information onto a secure and compliant platform so that they can actually enable the communication and collaboration scenarios that we've been designing for. So here what you see is essentially a custom list that could be created in terms of the columns that you would define. This is modeled after actually one of our awesome customers in the state of Texas and how they're using it for medical rounding in their medical surgery department. You can create all these custom columns of different metrics that they might track, like mobility score, current length of stay, and so on, as well as applying visual management so that they can quickly discern like what kind of important information that needs to be highlighted, insurance information and whatnot. We also, yeah, exactly. So because all of this is also built straight from Teams, the mobile experience works right out of the box as well. So that's what's kind of critical, is a lot of these nurses and clinicians are always on the go, consulting with patients and kind of moving between different assignments that they might have. And so taking these notes quickly today, they were like writing onto these pieces of paper that they end up taking home. And my wife is one of them, super guilty on some of those things where our shredder is like used for that kind of stuff. But naturally, part of it is like, how do they actually transfer that information successfully from one shift to another is also pretty critical around that. So as part of this, we also enable a compose extension. As users are actually writing the relevant messages, they can actually query the patients out of the list, and we draw an adaptive card as part of the conversation so that we ensure that the contextual aspect is part of that discussion. And of course, like within that, we also provide the relevant quick action buttons that you can kind of deep link back into the actual record itself so that you're fetching the latest on what's going on. So now I'll hand it over to David.
Great. Last couple of minutes, we're going to look at a demo of the new consults functionality that's now in private preview. So what you're seeing here from this on the screen right now is a view of a set of staff within the organization. So imagine your organization, Lambda Healthcare. You have multiple different departments that are looking to schedule virtual consults with external users. In this case, what an administrator can do is they can actually set up a set of users in each department that they can actually view the Outlook availability of those users directly from within the Teams in a nice people-centric view here. And they can actually curate and manage the set of users that they're looking at. So whether they're filtering or they're adding staff from anybody in the organization, they can use this view to be able to curate the list of users and look for an available slot. So in this case, we're in the Lambda Healthcare. You can set up multiple departments within the organization. This Lambda Healthcare that we set up here actually creates a shared mailbox through Outlook. So all invites will be sent from that shared mailbox that gets set up. So no invites go out from a personal email, which is one of the great advantages of this tool. So let's go here. Let's say, let's do with Alex DeYoung. Let's go set up a consult here. One of the parts of this tool that is really beneficial is you can actually set up different types of appointment templates. So if you're regularly scheduling certain types of consults with a certain set of information that gets sent out to the external patient, you can actually define these templates through the app. And I've created a few here just as examples. So let's say we were going to go schedule a flu or cold visit with our patient. What I'll do, I'll just provide some basic information about the patient. So let me enter her name. I'm going to provide, let's set a meeting up with Lydia Holloway as our patient. And so this patient just really needs any email address. Doesn't have to be a Microsoft email. These notifications can be sent out to any user. I'll provide some information. I can add multiple care team members or a single care team member, and then also provide internal notes for the team about this particular appointment. I can add some customized reminders. Let's say I was sending, to the attendee 15 minutes before. I can set these up, and these will send specific reminders via email out to the patient. So with this, let's go and hit send. And I'm going to send this out. So we just created a flu or cold visit at 4 p.m. What this will do is a couple different things. First, it's going to put this invite on the internal Teams calendar. So both within Teams and within Outlook, they'll be able to see this appointment as a Teams meeting. So if I go over to calendar here, you can see now I have that flu or cold visit that showed up on Alan's calendar. And from here, he can actually just join the meeting just like he would a regular internal Teams meeting. But if we go and look over on the patient side, so this is moving over to Lydia's Outlook email, you'll see that she just received a confirmation in her email from Lambda Healthcare. If she clicks on that, you'll see that she'll have some basic information about the appointment that was set up, who the appointment is with, but she doesn't ever see the personal email of the clinician that she's actually meeting with, like a regular Teams information worker meeting. Within this email, you'll see there's a link here for this, the patient to be able to join. If she clicks on that link inside of the web browser, she can join that via WebRTC. Within the browser, so Chrome browser or Edge browser, doesn't need to actually install anything on the device. So to complete the demo, I'm actually going to have Mike actually join as the patient over here on his machine, and I'm actually going to go join as the clinician from this view. So if I go join this online meeting, we'll see from my side as the clinician, it's actually just a Microsoft Teams meeting. I can use features like background blur. We also demoed some functionality here around background replacement that you saw as a part of our keynote. So I'll go turn that on. It looks super real. And there you can see I'm in the patient room. So Mike is actually going to join from his side. And we'll see that from the web browser, he can actually get connected via video. So we can see we're now connected. On Mike's machine, he's actually, maybe we can switch over to the browser so you can see what that join looks like. And you can see that now we're in a conversation. Mike didn't need to set up anything or install anything. He could just join via video in the browser. So that's a very quick demo. I think we are already over time. So one final thing to leave with you is that two of the features you saw today, the Patients app as well as the virtual consults functionality, are a part of our private preview. If you're interested in participating, getting early access to these features, just send an email note to this email here, teamsforhealthcare@service.microsoft.com, and we can get your organization access to those two apps. Final thing is, please make sure to check out some of the other sessions we have for Microsoft Teams this week. In particular, on Thursday, there's a breakout session where we're going to go into some more detail on this functionality as well as other healthcare functionality for Microsoft Teams. So be sure to check out those sessions. Thank you.
One more thing, we also have a dedicated booth over in the hub. So you'll find us under Health Team Collaboration. Come by, talk to us to get more information, just so we can kind of learn about some of the scenarios that you might have as well. Thanks.